Yep. Can the people hear me? Make sure the audio is going correctly. Yep. Oh, here we go. We got picture. We got video. Let's go. West Connect is back. Another installment. Appreciate everybody for supporting the show, man. The last stream did very well. Want to appreciate everybody that pulled up, left comments, all that good stuff, man. Continuing from the last show's theme, we are on talent development. What does that mean? What is talent development? How do we develop talent here in the West region from the league owner's perspective? So, enough of me just being here solo. We got to bring the people to the stage. First up, representing UBR, New Mexico is in the building. Dvos is here. What's going on, sir? Got to unmute yourself.
Unmute myself. My bad. My name is Dvos. Universal Battle Realm. I'm Mr. Five Fingers in your bitch like I'm speaking Italian. What's good, Nico?
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Coming to the stage. They say Utah didn't have a battle rap scene. And last year, I'm back just to remind y'all, we talking Mike Masters Alliance. Just had an event, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday. If I'm not mistaken. Shout out to that. Gabino Grhymes is here. What's going on?
Hey. What is good, y'all? Yeah, Gabino Grhymes at Mike. That's my son. At Mike Masters 801 on everything. We just had an event last night. The playoffs round of 12. And so this conversation actually runs parallel to what we made happen yesterday. So I'm excited for this conversation.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, man, definitely want to say I appreciate you guys taking the time. You know what I'm saying? This is about talent development. A lot of people had their opinions. A lot of people, was saying different things, but got to get on their perspective. And top of that, man, we got to venture outside of California because California is spoiled. Shout out. CRS, shout out to the rooftop. But y'all spoiled in California. Y'all, the battle rappers are right next door. They right up the street. Now we talking about the other parts of the West where travel comes into play. Certain expenses that you don't have to worry about in California come into play. So how does that affect talent development? So to get into it first, I'm just going to read the Google definition. Yes, I went to Google. I did. I Googled the definition. I didn't know what it meant by myself. So I had to Google it. Definition of talent development. And it states, talent development is the organizational process of positioning employees, or in this case, battle rappers, for career advancement in a way that aligns with the company's mission or the league's mission. This includes identifying aptitude and goals and helping them develop the knowledge and skills they need to achieve those goals and also fill the need. That is working definition of talent development, but That's Google. That's a technical definition. We got the professionals here to talk about what it means. So, Dvos, start with you. Talent development. What does that mean to you as a league owner?
Okay, so when I started as part of the staff, my first job with the league was to open our foundations or to reinvigorate them. And our foundations is our primary medium of talent development. It's our tryouts, which I think is important that every league has a tryout team, because that's the only way you're going to begin that process of developing talent. So once you've got your pool of people who want to become battle rappers or to get more experience, I think talent development for the league is giving them opportunities to battle and to showcase their talent, their abilities, their raps, how good they are as a performer, and whatnot. I think for a battler, talent development is becoming comfortable on stage. I think it's doing homework. In this case, I mean like watching battles, interacting with the West, learning your history. In this case, the West, right? Learning your history on battle rap, what's been said, what's been done, what's cool, what's not cool. I think that there's a lot that goes into it on both sides. Obviously, as a league owner, it's the creation of opportunities for people to become recognizable names in the battle rap community. And for a battler, it's practice. I mean, frankly, it's practice. I don't know any other way to describe it. What kind of things you spend your time practicing within battle rap is, of course, up to them. But talent development for a league is providing opportunities.
Absolutely. So, same question, Gabino.
Yeah.
Talent development for you as a league owner. What does that mean to you?
Talent development is what it means to me is definitely cultivation of the culture, and making a point to. I mean, this is literally what's happening right now, is to just reintroduce battle rap as a staple here in Salt Lake again, and making more people aware that they have this platform at their fingertips, and we've established ourselves nationally, and we're doing our best to establish ourselves nationally and locally, and we've managed to be able to do that through our promotions and then just word of mouth and stuff. So talent development for in a simple answer for me at least is to be available for those who are ready to step up. Battle rap is very interesting. Everyone's a rapper until they go to an event of ours and then recognize that, oh damn, this is where you are absolutely in a place where you can test your skills, and so talent development is crucial. Talent development is key to being able to grow a league and present folks on a national scale. That's what I think about talent development.
Okay. So, and this is, like I said, specific to you guys because you guys are obviously not in California. We have Utah, we have New Mexico. So a lot of times, especially in the history of the West, California was always looked at first.
Sure.
Then in recent history, more Northwest, Washington, being looked at. But within the last, I'd say 2 to 3 years, especially since COVID has happened, the other states, the Arizonas, the New Mexicos, the Utahs, Nevada, have started reestablishing themselves in the West hierarchy. So for you guys, in terms of talent development, what are the pros and cons of not necessarily having the hub like California or some of these other states to just have all these battlers just readily who are already known, or people who can bring their friends that want to battle? Like, for you guys, what are the pros and cons for developing talent in a state that's not really known for battle rap so much?
Nate, do you want to go?
Yeah. So I think there's more. What are the pros and cons of talent development here in Utah? Well, the pros are there's a lot of unfound talent, so it's exciting to get new blood, as it were, on a card, and to present that point in real time. Yesterday at our event, we had five MCs that were making their battle rap debut in general, so that was really exciting. In the 6 draft battles that we had, two showed promise, and that's generally the case, so the cons are actually, I'm not going to segue into cons from that, but it is promising still to have two. I mean, just like based on statistics, 33%, I mean, that's not bad, of folks that you're like, okay, well, I want to bring you back, and I think that the cons are simply they run parallel to the pros, is that you are trying to find the talent that is looking to make their name in a battle rap setting. So that's the con in that aspect, and because Salt Lake is although we're a growing city, just as the capital city, and a state as a whole, we're still we're still doing our best to uncover where kids are at, and like what I mean by that is like 18-year-old, younger cats that are trying to make it. We had this 19-year-old dude that just battled one of our hitters, Stretch, yesterday. His name's Slicks, and he's got mad potential. He's moved past the draft, and so just getting the younger generation in on it is really big for us. But a con there is just like finding them and being in the atmosphere and the environment of where they're at.
Absolutely. Dvos, talk to me, man. Talent development
Yo,
in New Mexico, man. What's pros and cons out there, man?
I had to think about it for a moment because I was like, I can't think of a pro to not having a ton of battle rappers near me as a league. But then I thought, okay, so something that I see on the outside looking in, and it's not all the time, but California, because there are so many leagues, I feel like, I'm sure Gabino can attest to this, like, we don't compete with anyone in Albuquerque. We are battle rap in New Mexico, the entire state. We are battle rap. So like, I don't check dates with anyone out here. I don't ask permission from anyone out here. Like, either you battle with us or you don't. And that's not even like a threat. That's just, we're the only place to do it here. And it's always been that way, So that's, I guess, a pro is that we don't really have to deal with the if you can or if you don't want to. It's just scheduling and shit like that. Right. I guess a pro to it as well is, like Gabino said, like, we get to develop that talent, and that talent wants to stay with us. It takes, like, myself, I think, is a prime example. Like, I consider myself the last person of UBR to come out of a foundations, a tryout battle, and rise to anything. Like, I am that last person as of right now, and I don't like that. That doesn't sit well with me. I'd like to make new potential high tier battlers. I'd like to find them and develop them. So to your point, the cons of this are, we have to kind of persuade people, to do battle rap. Like, I try to hit up a lot of local rappers because they already sort of get what we're doing, as far as the structure, but you need to do it in a different way. So I have to kind of like, persuade people like, hey, you already do this really well. Why don't you try this format of it? And it's hard to sell people on it, right? Because it's not the same lifestyle. This is a sport. This is a competitive atmosphere. It's not the same kind of like high lifestyle all the time. Battlers are people who are doing this, I feel, largely for the love of the sport and because they want to be the best within this community. Like, I feel with rap, music, if you're just doing that, like you kind of just get to enjoy the fruits of your labor, and people fuck with you or they don't, but it doesn't really like, you don't ask permission to drop songs in places. You don't ask permission to do shows in places. You just fucking go. And I don't know. And that's on the outside looking in. So the cons to it is we don't have like active people we could call on. Huge con, Gabino can attest to this. You know, we have to fly people out, man. And that became like a real big problem after COVID, because I feel like, I don't want to get on a soapbox, but like there was a clear inflation that took place between like 2020 and 2022 when the Twitter spaces popped off and people were just getting paid for that. And then everybody's like, well, that bumps up what I should be getting paid if I'm doing live battles, right? And so I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. Like, yeah, you should come fuck with us. We have great production value. We have a great audience, a battle rap centered audience and a engaging audience. We have great hospitality, but that flight, you know, can you grab that? That's a hard sell to people, because especially if you're living in California, you can just stay in California. You can just stay in Texas, or you can just stay in the Midwest. Like, you don't really have to leave that. So it's hard because I got to make myself look really appealing, and UBR is really appealing to get people to fuck with us on a budget. And they have. I don't think I've ever had any really bad business in my experience, but that's a difficult thing to do, because if you have a home state roster, what travel, what hotel, what, I mean, like gas maybe, right? But like,
Right.
you just put the show together, you get to dump all that money. And I don't mean to be ignorant. I'm sure there's other things that go into that, but it's your production, your camera, your venue, hosts, the things that make it look really, really fucking fire. That's where that money can go. And I've got to put it into making sure there's battlers.
No, absolutely, absolutely. So even with this topic here, because a lot of this this conversation actually started because Dev, shout out to Foed Dev, he actually asked the question on my radio show earlier in the week. His question was, do I think that this year is the weakest in terms of talent development in the West? And my commentary on the last the part 1 of talent development show, my commentary was, I think the West has been spoiled. I think every year since 2011 we've had somebody who looks like a star. I mean, if you look at the bulk of our stars, bulk of our quote unquote, they call it mids, because I call it professional tiers. You know, the people who can go travel anywhere, get paid for battle rap. Even the top tiers, you look at every year. 2011, you get like Yak the Ripper, you get Dre Vicious. You know, the next year you're getting like the Kid Clutch. The next year you're getting Kali Smooth, Young B the Future. You go Geechee Gotti's in that time period, B-Dots in that time period. Then you go, let's move to fast forward 2015. Now we got Grizz. You know what I'm saying? And also in that as well, you get Emerson Kennedy that's also in that time period as well. So I just feel like we got spoiled for so many years. Then it was, okay, Western Conference era. Now we're at 2017. Okay, 2017, what do we have? We get Coffee. We get Real Name Brandon. Following year, we get Dot Everything. You know what I mean? I just think that we got spoiled so many years in a row to the point where now I feel like it's more leveled out. And even though to the COVID era, Hansel, Justice, G Will, Royalty, you get some people who are, you know, Mad Manly, you get some people who are there, but I feel like if it's not that, people look at it like it's a negative. So my question, and I'll start with Gabino on this one. For you guys, like, what do you feel the requirement is going to be for you as a league owner to get the talent in your region, to not even just the development side, but actually getting them exposed to their actual region, to the rest of the West, where other places a little easier. But for you, what do you feel like the requirements are for you as a league owner to be able to help facilitate that development, both in skill and in overall awareness for battle rappers in your area?
That's a great question. So I feel like a requirement of me is to inquire to like the battlers that we have that are ready to start to travel. And this is what we've already been doing, you know, like Spades is someone I'll refer to right now. Is that like him and I have conversations pretty regularly about new ways he can market himself. I gave him quick tutorials on different apps that I utilize for the Mike Masters page so that he can start to market himself better. And that drive and that willingness to learn is paramount. And so like I'm willing to put more into like energy and just like resources in the hands of those who want them. Nez is another example of a battler that I feel, and others that have come out here, i.e. Lush One and Cali Smooth, when they came out here in December, for someone who's we want to get out of the state. But he is also doing a lot for the marketing side of himself and wanting to learn more in general, you know. So I think it's a requirement of me to be an active listener and also just have, you know, the eye, I guess, or something, you know, and that's tough to develop. I don't even know if I have that per se, you know. I just know I see where I see that there's motivation and folks that want to put in the work, then you know, I want to work with them more, you know, and help them. I'm a really big person on like Google it type of people, you know, people that find the answer before asking, but also saying that they've exhausted all their resources, and I think that you might have the answer. So, you know, and I appreciate shit like that. So I think a requirement on my part is to recognize it and then start reaching out to, you know, league owners or providing the resources for them to help provide the resources for them to be able to reach out themselves. Like Mike Bailey last year, he was very, very, very good about reaching out. Like when we first brought him back into the fray in November of 2022, after he battled Latizé out here, and then he had a good 2023 as far as traveling was concerned. He went and battled Dre Dennis on Gates, and he set that up. And we got him Dre Vicious out here, and then Johnny Storm out here. But he was very eager to make those matches happen, and I listened to him, and he was willing to invest in himself, and we were too. So I think it's a requirement on the league owner to recognize that your talent is hungry and they want plates.
Absolutely. Dvos, to you, man, as a league owner, man, what do you feel like those requirements are, man?
Man, Gabino said encapsulated something really good, which I think is initiative in my, I'm going to say pupils, but in the people who want to develop more for themselves. I feel like initiative is a huge sign of someone who's going to go further than most, or at least make it past like their class. The ones who don't take that initiative to reach out to other leagues, to interact with other leagues on social media and watch battlers and hit them up, like to spar. Like you have to, and you learn it over time, but like you have to become a member of the community. It means like sparring with random people you don't know. It means watching battles, old battles, new battles, people you're not familiar with. And finding a desire within yourself, one that I remember having, and I still share, but on a more like business professional side now, rather than just I'm gonna do battles anywhere I can and for any reason, you know, like that's good to have though. Like in my head, it's a requirement in the sense that you won't go far if you don't have it. If you don't have that drive to find a way to be more relevant within the community, even if that's just your home league, then we'll forget about you. You know, like it's out of sight, out of mind. If you don't make noise, we won't hear you. Simple as that. As a league owner, you know, Gabino's also right. Like you kind of take on this role as a manager, so to speak, and it's in your interest that you do, right? Because when your battlers go debut on new leagues or on big stages, right, and they shout out your home, you know, the more that happens, the more it's brand recognition, the more that the broader community hopefully starts to associate good battlers with your league. And it's in your interest to find opportunities for your battlers to, in a sense, advertise for you on behalf of you. And it's something that I felt like I did from the jump. Like I'm always proud to shout out Universal Battle Realm, and now I have the privilege of shouting out Black Ice Cartel. You know, I always want to be an advocate for these stages now because they're who invested in me, and now I want to be able to like find opportunities in my fellow league owners, either that my fellow league owners are offering for my roster to go out there and battle, because I'm not always going to have a show, and that's what I'll say also is like I'm going to say it's like a smaller league who has to like plan really far in advance so that they can conquer the budget that they put out for themselves for an event. Like, I 100% encourage my battlers to go to other stages to get that practice, because I can't always offer it to them. You know, I have to find these opportunities so that when my battlers can finally perform here, because I have an opportunity for them, you know, it's not like it's the fourth time they're battling. Hopefully it's the seventh now, right? Because they went and got two other plates somewhere else. That helps me. And I mean, hopefully it's the similar sentiment. Hopefully it is the feeling of steel sharpens steel. If I send a battler to the cookout or to Mike Masters or the CRS and they have a really good battle with one of their members, that's good for everyone involved. You know, that's a part of the development, because similarly, I could say that it's my obligation, and and I feel like I fulfilled it, especially for the upcoming event, to bring, names that are not outlandishly better than the people I have to offer, but offer enough of a challenge that this person will rise to the occasion. And I think that it's also, and I'll say this, as far as in talent development and a league owner's responsibility, I feel like it is so important to emphasize to your battlers that being consistent and being professional and doing good business and actually dedicating time to not only promotion but to the quality of your material do so much for us and for our ability to do more for them. When we are known for professionalism and excellence, that's what we will receive in return. I feel, we set a standard for ourselves. You have to be willing to do that on both sides. Obviously, the league owner, it can start costing a little bit more as time goes on. You hope that as these battlers develop themselves, they continue to bring shine back to the home league. Obviously, it's their life and their choice if they don't, but that is our goal. Ultimately, is to develop people who the community can benefit from and who we can benefit from, and we get to enjoy the fact that we are this center for excellence, for great battle rap performances and material.
No, absolutely.
Can I
So one thing
piggyback
that
on that?
oh yeah, go ahead. Absolutely.
That's what really, I appreciate you sharing that, Dvos. What really resonated there was being a pseudo manager. That's what I feel like. I think it's a very important, and I think it's just important to establish a community. And as a league owner, it's like, a requirement feels like a strong word, so I might rephrase it. I think what should be established by the league owner or owners is a community, and knowing that, hey, we got your back and we want to see you grow, and being consistent, like with events, to be able to facilitate that growth, for them to be able to have trust in us as the league, to know that we are putting on events to be able to facilitate growth is a big requirement too. Like having like that at our disposal, not at our disposal, excuse me, but having that as a goal, like a North Star for us, to be like, oh man, we really want to incorporate a lot of the draft battles into some of these main events, moving forward, because I want the folks that are trying out to see talent too. I want them to be in the building when not real, but more experienced and skilled battle rappers are battling, so they can take notes and to be able to offer them that opportunity. So establishing a community is a big, again, requirement. Seems like, I don't know. I think maybe we're just rephrasing that in my head, at least, reframing rather. I just think that it's very important to establish a community, and I think that we're doing a pretty good job of that.
Absolutely. So my next question is kind of gonna actually piggyback off of the manager angle, in terms of like having to manage the battle rapper and figuring out ways to help promote them and everything. When it comes to two biggest topics for battle rappers, the two biggest things that they care about: what name am I going to get, or how much am I going to get paid, right? And it's very subjective. There's all different kinds of thought processes. It can be subjective in terms of when you get a name, but for you guys as league owners with talent development in mind, how do you guys navigate when is the right time to reward a battle rapper along their path of development? And is it more about the look? Is it more about, quote unquote, the bag? Or does it vary based on the battle rapper that you are actually interacting with?
I'll start with that one. That has been something that I don't feel I have been able to learn very well as a league owner, and I say that because I started as a staff member right after I battled Lotta Zay, so UBR 8. So that was like maybe 3-4 years ago. And in that time, I had been responsible for a couple tryout events, like a couple mid-tier events, helping plan like our anniversaries and our top ones. But it was difficult because I had, like I said earlier, I had battlers who were new and were developing, and I hadn't realized how much time was passing at a certain point. Like I hadn't realized that like 4 years had gone by and certain people had been on our stages for like 6. And now as a staff member, I'm like, fuck, where are they? Where have they gone? They haven't done anything. And is that my fault? Am I actually hurting them by continuing to give them names? Because Gabino, like Nico, we've all seen this. Like there are battlers who have battled frequently, but are not developed, And do we reward the consistency of showing up, or do we say, "Hey, no, of course not"? And that's it was meant to get a no.
My bad.
Well, it's rhetorical, but that's what I'm like when I'm asking myself, like, okay, they continue to battle with us. And what I said last question was initiative, right? I feel bad not recognizing initiative to continue to try, even if they're not good. And you could sit down and say, hey, you should watch these battles. Hey, you should spar with these people. Hey, have you contacted this person for a battle? Like you could do all those things. If you don't have the initiative to do that, or like, if they just don't fucking get it, it's hard because we are literally growing, trying to farm talent out of nothing. And so I can't be frustrated that they're not far enough yet because they may have not even seen themselves doing this. And so that's a whole other tangent. But like in essence, my point is that it is hard for me where I am in this league, given the fact that I don't have, like you said, the hub earlier. I feel I have to be patient. But even in my patience, if I don't reward these battlers who I don't feel like are deserving of some of the things they're asking, sometimes I am under threat of losing them, which will result in more costs for me in the future because I'll have to either develop a whole new person or I'll have to just keep flying people out here because I need to produce events, and I can't not have this if I am to maintain my league's longevity. I have to have something to show. So either I develop this talent, it's not good, but at least I'm still developing them and giving them place, or I continue to outsource. In terms of like a more positive example for somebody who is showing growth, who is taking the initiative, for instance, if I have battler A and he gets the iBattle invitation, right? That's a pretty, I felt it was a significant look for me when I got it. I think I may have been the first or the second person to go to iBattle for my league. And that's something we also take with some pride, is because of how small we are and in our region. When one of us debuts on a notable league, we're very proud of that person because we may have never graced that stage before. So I try to reward that person by saying, look, plan for this date, this month, we're going to have a show, as far in advance as I possibly can. and say, we're going to try to get you this person, or who do you want? And, are you willing to put some money up? We'll meet you halfway with that. Or, hey, we're not going to have a show. I know they're going to have a show. If you battle on their stage, I'll make sure you get a name, or I'll help with that. Excuse me. I was going to sneeze. So, excuse me. It's important to reward the battlers who are taking that initiative and assisting how you can, because anything helps for our battlers out here. We are secluded. Somebody throws you $100 to help with flight, to help with your hotel. That's really fucking cool of them. Just that they gave a shit enough. And we would like to be able to reciprocate that to our battlers. The more that they make us look good, the more that we have an incentive and an initiative on our part to continue that relationship and that feedback cycle of just positivity.
Okay, Gabino, same thing to you, man. Like, this is a bag, the name. Like, what is that conversation like? How does that go? Lost Gabino. Gotta get him back here. No, we start talking about the bag and the name, and we haven't. Chaos is breaking out.
Let me tell you about the bag.
Man.
The bag is some bullshit
right now. They don't want to hear this. The battle rappers are reporting this stream.
I'm gonna tell them this. I am a battler. I think what I do largely has been worth travel. I think that I can do that, and why? Because I promote. Personally, I feel that I can do that because I promote. There's a lot of battlers who do promote. Obviously, their shit is cool, but not always that great. What is the problem with being self-aware? Not, this person is able to get this. Not, I know what this person got paid. Not, I've been doing it for 45 fucking years and I'm still battling on the lower tiers. Like, what is the problem with being self-aware and asking yourself, am I actually worth this money? Because when you present it like that, like this is what I'm worth, this is what I do, I love that you have that confidence in yourself, because that's so good for a person, right? But I am so much more prepared to hear the approach, hey, this is what I need in order to make it happen, right? Not that I necessarily, I'm not telling you need to do this, I am worth this, you're dumb if you don't do this. Like, what do you mean you don't pay your battlers? If you just say, listen, I want to work with you guys, but this is what I need. Otherwise, I can't do it. It doesn't make sense for me, right? Because everybody's got whatever they got going on in their real life. But when you come to me and you're like, yeah, I'm worth this amount. And as a league owner, I'm sure Gabino would agree, we know a lot of people's price, right? When it's hard to not remember what a top tier name's price is when you hear a mid-tier guy name the same number. And you have to go, man, are you sure that that's what that is? That that's the number you're sticking with? Because it's not that I don't like you, but you don't know what your market looks like, which is that's the only thing I'll give battlers, is there's no hub that says what people's prices are, right? So you can look at it and go okay, maybe I'm not here, or that's what that person's getting paid. There's no way for people to gauge it for themselves, which I think hopefully would help. But if you can't, you're just I'm going to ask for this.
They gauge it by their peers, their contemporaries, the people that they're around. Okay, if this person's getting paid $100 for this battle, and my last performance, I feel like I was better than him. Okay, I'm worth $2. Or, hey, my boy who on this card, you know what I'm saying? We've been battling the same amount of time. This is how they logic go. Hey, man, I need to get at least 3 and a hotel. I need to be taken care of. Or you get the people who's man, I'm lit right now because on Twitter, going to Twitter space, they know me. They know who I am. They know who I am. That means I need at least 5, maybe even a rack. I might need a rack. That's what they do. And listen, y'all the league owners. I've already had opportunities to be a league owner. I've turned it down every time it was presented because I just don't have the patience for foolishness. And
Smart man.
There's a lot of foolishness in the West. They're just I cannot understand. Well, I can't understand because it's a lot of hidden activity, but to me, it's because I followed the path of talent development myself. Shout out to the Riot. When I was battling, the looks that they gave, the particular times that they did, you can see a gradual cycle of, okay, your first battle, okay, wasn't too good, okay, let's bring you back a notch. Okay, we gave you a name, okay, let's bring you back a notch. Let's see what you can do on short prep. Okay, cool, you did this. Okay, cool, let's go ahead and challenge you with a vet. Okay, cool, this vet was cool. Okay, challenge you with another vet. Let's see if you can go. I feel like building along the way, but I feel like a lot of that is battle rappers actually trusting the league that they're on. A lot of people think if it's not the Riot, if it's not Westworld, if it's not iBattle or something like that, Gates, oh, well, I don't want to trust y'all. But it's like, you probably get better development for certain leagues that don't have the rep like that, because they're going to take an even greater interest in your career, given the fact that their talent pool might not be as much as what the Riot got 100 messages a day. I want to pull up. You know what I'm saying? Versus you go to a smaller league, hey, it's a little more of a detailed, in-depth kind of conversation that you can have. So we got Gabino back. We got Gabino back. The battle rappers did not want to hear what he had to say. They don't want to hear him talk about the bag. Don't tell us we're not worth the bag, Gabino. We know what we're worth.
My bad. I apologize.
Negative.
So let's go back to the I want to clarify the question. When do you find that it's like folks are ready for the opportunity, or like extending the opportunity?
Like most battle rappers, their two biggest concerns are, what name am I battling? I need a bigger name, or I need the bag. Like for you as a league owner, how do you navigate that, and when do you feel like it's the appropriate time to either give them the bag, or if it's the name first, you know what I'm saying? How do you just navigate that kind of conversation?
Sure, that question is still being answered today for us, but we are. I go back to the example of like Mike, like he wanted Lotta Zay, and even if I didn't, I had only old battles to really go off of from him with Mike Masters back in 2013, to go off of, but we were like, okay, let's facilitate it, and he showed up, and so again, we invested in that, and he invested in it, and after that, we had trust in him, that he wanted to continue to push himself. Now, for folks outside of that, it's where it becomes still navigating like self-awareness, I guess is the best way to put it, like if you're asking, and we haven't had this come up much really at all. So like if folks are asking for X amount, I mean, it turns into, okay, well, how many views did your last battle get? I can directly go and look at like how many people you might have brought to the event, et cetera. So to be able to be like, well, what's even your local star power look like, So I think being in a state of self-awareness is key from our perspective, and to be able to convey that to our local battlers. We haven't had to exactly address that. I think more so right now what we're seeing for new opportunities is to gauge performances and be like, how do you present matches, allow them to watch the battler that we're proposing, and be like, do you feel like you're up to this? Because we do, and that's to push their pen and to further their progression. I mean, I can't keep putting boxcar willies against boxcar willies and expect some superstar to come about it. People got to really be able to get up for their next opponent. You know what I'm saying? And I again go back to who I see that is active, who is showing that they care, that is a raving fan of Mike Masters at that, which is a great book, by the way, for any sort of business owner in general. It's called Raving Fans. It's incredible. And folks that show a vested interest in their development themselves. You know, I can only do so much. Let's make sure that we understand that too. You know, like leagues in general, you know, will provide areas where they can practice. Like I hit up people for the draft. Even I'm just like, hey, do you have? I offer to every single draft battler an opportunity to spit one round to me, and that I was going to provide feedback for them. 3 took that opportunity, so I listened to one of their rounds. And, you know, had like an hour conversation, hour and a half conversation, even in some cases, to be like, you know, you might not be hitting the snare correctly, the proverbial snare, you know, but just like that commitment level on our part obviously shows that we want to see that development grow. And again, to go back to the question, it's a point of self-awareness, you know, like, if ex battler is like, yo man, I feel like I'm ready to battle Marv 1, I think we're good, bro. I think we got to wait for that, you know. Like I think you know, like just being up front, and I have that opportunity to be like that with our battlers that we're molding. So I think establishing that early in the conversation with battlers and just letting them know that I have their best interest in mind, I think that's a big key to that, because I do. I'm not, you know, I'm not just like running this league. I also battle myself. I know what that grind looks like, you know. So it's not something that I'm not privy to. And I want these guys to grow, man. It's like it's a philanthropic effort, bro. For me, I really want to see talent that I know that we have get out of the state, man, and just really try to test their hand at what this art form can bring. That's my answer.
Absolutely. So I feel like you two are actually like uniquely qualified for this one in particular, because like I said, what started this discussion was Dev asking, do I feel like this is the weakest year? And objectively, I do. There's reasons for it, but I feel like the West region thinks lack of awareness is a weak development in the region versus the actual development of skill, awareness. You know what I'm saying? I feel like when they don't know who's out there, they feel like, oh, there's just nobody in this class. We don't have any rookies. Where's all the battle rappers at? Oh, we had them people last year. Where's the new class? And it's like, well, we're 5.5 months in. And if you're paying attention to the right places, you'll see it. But not everybody is going to deep dive and look at that. So for you guys, as league owners, in terms of the development, how do you combat that where people are looking at it from the perspective of being weak? And do you guys actually think this is a weak year, quote unquote, for battle rap? Or do you feel like it's just the lack of awareness for the talent that's actually there?
That's a good question. You want to start that, or you want me to?
Yeah, I guess I might want to just go back and forth with you about this one, to be honest, man, because like I feel like awareness is a tough one, because yeah, it is a shit. Like I have a list of battle rappers on the West just so I can refer to it. Like, who do I book? Who's available? Who's a name? And I got to keep growing that list. But it's probably in the like at least around 300, right? So that's like Nico. We established when we did the awards ceremony discussion, right? There's like 10 states in it now. So out of that, you know, there's probably 300 of us. So to say it's an awareness issue, I mean, it could be, but is it like, again, to be the dick here, but like, is it an awareness issue because we ain't promoting battlers, or is it an awareness issue because battlers ain't promoting themselves? Like it, because if I don't know about, how else was I supposed to know about
promotion, Dvos? I posted a flyer in the Western Conference. How are you not seeing me?
I've made people back out of battles because of my promotion, Nico. It's happened. You can do it too. It's easy to do.
Man, this is a wild topic. This is very simple, bro. Like, as an up and coming aspiring rapper, bro, be in people's DMs, bro. Reach out. If people aren't seeing you, the only reason why they're not seeing you is because you're not being, you just got to show yourself, and that goes for anything, and that goes in any industry. That's not just here. I'm not gonna make a sale if I don't reach out to someone. So if you wanna sell yourself, then it's a simple DM. Hey, I'm looking to come out to Utah. How do I do that? Okay, dope. Thanks for reaching out. Can you send a few links to your last battle? Have you battled before?
Yeah.
Those type of questions. That's very simple, man. Now, to go back to your question about sorry, go ahead, Dvos. I was going to answer the other
no, and to speak on that more, like, think about this too. If it's a matter of reaching out to people and saying like, oh, hey, you should book me, or oh, hey, how do I get booked out here? I feel like there is a sense, and it's hard, man, because we're fans of like you and me both. We're fans of the culture, we're participants of the culture, and we're league owners in the culture. So, like, I'm sure you and I just watch battles, right? But we also have to watch the potential battles. We've got to facilitate, organize, and watch our own battlers' battles here and wherever else they go. And I feel like there's a sense of like, oh, if it's a lack of awareness, it's because as a league owner, as someone else's implied manager, because that's what it feels like, is that if I'm not aware of the person hitting me up, I have not been doing my due diligence. But I was approached, and I don't want to be like that. I'm sure, if this person's actually good and I should be tapped into what they're doing, like, I'm gonna benefit from knowing that shit. But if I don't know it beforehand, and we do business and my reservations reflect the fact that I'm not familiar with what you do, it's either, yeah, because I've just never seen you, but that don't mean that you're not dope, but you're going to have to sell me on that first. And if you, like, there's this idea, and I think it's because everybody's like, because they're fucking men and they don't want to fucking talk like this. But like, yeah, you got to sell yourself. There's not like, oh, I shouldn't have to do all this shit. Well, then don't hit me up, man, because you're trying to convince me to pay you. As a battle rap league owner, we don't make money at this level. So the idea that we would be more than happy to pay people just because you're dope, like, yeah, I'm going to have to be sold on it before I just start sending out money, because I don't make money. I got to break even off of you, and I don't know you. That's a risk.
I just, in my last battle, Dvos, I told somebody, hey, you can't dodge a cat. You can't dodge a cat. I'm telling you, I'm what the West craving. I'm landing haymakers. The crowd is reacting. I told somebody over there, I recycled a bar. I might have recycled a bar. I might have even stole a bar and I got away with it, but I might not get away with it. But hey, the crowd reacted, Dvos. How can you tell me, a person who gets crowd reaction, that I'm not? What? I'm getting a reaction in the building.
Well, it's all good, man.
I'm so glad you have a supportive fan base.
There you go. I appreciate you telling me that, and I wish you the best, man. We'll let you know when we're able to give you, we'll hit us up. We'll be watching for the sidelines.
Why aren't more league owners like that? I feel like too many times in the West history, it's league owners, they concede to the battle. It's like you can have all the logic in the world that tells you do not invest in this situation, and they just cave. And now it's, oh, well, this league just gave me 200. Now
and you
I'm going to go over to Mike Masters, and I'm charging too. Matter of fact, I got 200 in Cali, so I gotta travel across. I need a hotel, and a flight. I need all of that. Dvos, New Mexico? I'm going to New Mexico. It's not like we're going to Mexico. You said we're going to New Mexico. Hey, I need 500 and a flight out there and a flight back the same day because I don't feel like staying. I want to get back to my state. These are the real things that happen with battle rap. This is their real logic, and they tell themselves that this shit is gospel, and it's like, no, it's not. It's not.
I saw those posts in the fucking conference. Nobody commented on it, but I know what you're talking about.
Man, it's like, dude, like the delusions that people have, and it's like, I always say
delusion is the word.
Right? This is how I describe battle rap, and it's getting better now. But battle rap in its inception was, excuse my French, street niggas doing business with other street niggas. Everybody's trying to negotiate for their best interest because you're not negotiating for the other person across the table. And it was never a real structured business model or way to go about this. It was trial and error, figure this shit out. You know what I'm saying? Event to event, let's figure it out. Battle to battle, let's figure out what our business model is, what's going to happen next. And I feel like now that we're starting to see it kind of level out, we've had some years. We know what the top tier quote unquote bag is. We know what they talk about, what they get. We know what the mid tier, as I said, a professional tier. We know what they're going to get. I think it's the people that are newer to the culture that don't know anything about it. Like how Gabino said earlier, Google it. Do your research before you even pull up to me to ask me for a plate. They're not even there. So they're just going to go by what their friend told them, what they heard in an interview. And so for you guys, it's like, well, damn, shit. You know, as a league owner, I can understand it's probably frustrating as hell. Like, damn, we can't even get, sensibility in this negotiation just to even book a battle, because the negotiation don't have to be I'm paying you. It could just be negotiating to get on my league or my platform. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm sorry, Gabino, I'll cut you off a couple times. Do you want to say something? No? Did I lose Gabino? You're on mute if you're talking.
Good. Is he?
No, I just can't hear him. Never mind.
Yeah, I can't hear him either. Yeah, I can't hear him. Yeah, you might have to come back on that. But yeah, I'm so glad we're having this dialogue, man, because I think it's so important for this region, man. Like we have to have this kind of conversation. I'm just glad that league owners are actually willing to, have this kind of dialogue, because it gives the battle rappers a place of reference. You know what I'm saying?
This is what I'll say though. Oh yeah, cool. He's here.
So, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Okay. What I was gonna say is that honestly, it just comes down to like negotiate. Just be cool, man. We worked with you guys see who we got on our cards out here. So we just explained to them what the situation is, and sometimes we can play full price, sometimes we can't, or whatever the case is. But we've shown enough dedication and effort to make the state as welcoming as possible, and there's a lot of feedback to support that. Folks want to be a part of what we're doing, and it's just a matter of just coming to the table and breaking bread, bro. If we can't break bread, it's not good. It's not a. This isn't. I definitely don't want my comment about saying like, hey, good luck in the future to be taken out of context, because I know that can happen, because that response doesn't happen often, if at all, really, But that would be a valid response, like, because in business, I've definitely had in my personal sales experience, like a business being like, oh, well, we need this, that, and the third. It's like, you know what? You got a pretty good deal where you're at. I would probably stay there. Like that's amazing. You know what I mean? And to Dvos's point, like, yeah, your fan base is dope. I would just wish that they would watch your battle more, because you only have 275 views, and that's what you're averaging. So that's wild to me,
Yeah. And there's, Lex put out a post. He's been dropping some gems lately. Lex put out a post today about how to generate views, for battlers. And I feel like even at my point, like I still screenshot shit when I see it like that, because it's stuff that I should remember, because I don't always take other people's good advice, and I certainly have a hard time taking my own advice. But nonetheless, it's like you can't be posting shit like run the views up. You got to post shit like let's get to 100 views and 10 likes, and so far incremental success. But that builds up over time. But if you just leave it, right, and we've all done it where we've just let some shit sit and it shouldn't have been, it's what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. And if you aren't doing well and people start talking like, oh, people don't fuck with me. Oh, it's a conspiracy. Oh, they don't want to see me succeed. When you get in your head like that, you're doing the wrong shit. Because if you're talking about only the people who know you, then go make fans out of the fuckers who don't, because if this is the people working against you, it's not like there's 40 fucking people, 400 people in the fucking world. There's a whole nother coastline that probably don't know about you. Go make a fan over there. Like, just go, and that doesn't mean like you have to fly out there, but you just interact in their Facebook group enough, and you'll be a person they see. Like the bar and the cost for notoriety is not actually that expensive when it comes to social media. It's just activity. Um, but I want to play devil's advocate for a moment because you and I are both battlers, and we're both battlers from smaller leagues, and like we're talking about this because we're outside of it. And I shouldn't say that to you. You actually were very close to winning League of the Year last year, so you're actually doing much better than myself in that regard. But being where we are geographically, right? When I go to travel to another league in the Midwest or in the South or in the Northeast, like I am also in a position where if I fly to New York, that's easily $400 flight. Hotel is, if I'm being nice to myself, it's 200 or somewhere around there, right? My dumbass buys a suit every fucking battle, so I've got that. Like I'm just trying to get there. Like the bag is the last thing I am worried about, but I have to ask for travel. And so the only way for me to justify that in my head is to say, I'm going to sell your pay-per-view and I'm going to promote the hell out of your event more than you've seen other people do, because I know I can control that for myself. Right. But I can't look at them and go, if they don't want to pay me, I can't be hostile to them or have animosity towards them because it don't make sense. I'm from the other side of the country. Their home audience doesn't know me, right? That's a hard. Similarly, like there's people. If I fly somebody out from the West Coast, back to talking shit. If I fly somebody out from the West Coast, my home league probably doesn't know about them in the sense that just the community that shows up probably doesn't know about them because they don't really watch shit. That's the con to being in the small state is they watch UBR. I don't know how much they watch other battle rap. So I've got to bring something that my core audience wants to see, and that's in recent years been bringing people they've never seen before and having to try to make fans out of people. So like, if somebody's asking for money to come out here, they can't put people in the door unless they travel with them, right? The only way they can make the league money is if they sell pay-per-views. And if their views don't do that well, like we all know YouTube isn't paying out great money like that. Like you have to do something for me that I don't know that I can like put a pin on in order for this transaction to be worth it. And it's hard. Like I'm in a position where I don't know that I can guarantee that for anybody else. Right. So I don't know. It's like, how do I treat you like this? But I can't do anything about it either. But as a league owner, I have to have you work with me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So,
you wanted to comment on anything there before I move to the next question?
Oh, did we lose him?
You have to rejoin again because first of all, again, I appreciate you guys taking this time. This is fire dialogue. I definitely wish we got this dialogue for another hour. I have like one question in particular that I really want to ask Gabino. I definitely want to get your thoughts on it as well before we get up out of here. So and my question is gonna be here we go. Is he back? Let me make sure. Hold on. Come on, StreamYard. Don't cut my guys' time short, man. We cooking over here, man. Cooking up, man. Don't cut the time short, B. There we go.
Apologies, man.
You back?
I get a phone call in, and then I ignore it, and then Anyway, so I wanted to just piggyback on that topic further, and to say that I think that battlers that are, first off, I want to say that I appreciate that you brought up Dvos, like Lex dropping gems. I preach this to people in our group, and Dvos, I'm pretty sure you've even seen these posts of mine. Like, if you don't have a Twitter, get a Twitter, because that's where battle rap lives. Like, I've said that in our group,
Talk about it.
There's no reason why you shouldn't be, if you, that's not, you don't have to be, but like, man, you would behoove yourself to be like around the energy that you're trying to be around, like trying to improve yourself in. Anyway, so my point is that I think that battlers that are on the come up, on the rise, that are looking for more opportunities, they might be pricing themselves out of just new opportunities. Going to a new state, going to a new scene, all of that is another opportunity for you to be able to network and create a new fan base. And with the way that our league is set up, with the, sometimes we're live streaming on YouTube. One of our producers last night, he hit me up this morning. He's like, man, I got 17 new follows. And that's not crazy, but also it's kind of crazy for him, like in a day, from the producer battle. And that's
good.
That's
progress.
Yeah, but that's the exposure that he would not have got otherwise just by selling the beat. So I guess what I'm getting at is just be mindful. This is not to league owners. This is the battlers. Man, take all the opportunities that you can get. If it's a matter of just like, hey, can you guys throw me a hotel? I can figure out a flight.
Yeah.
Can you like pay a third of what I'm
Yeah.
a third of my flight or something? Let's just chat, because I definitely understand, and I want to make sure that this is an opportunity that I don't pass up, because I really want to make my way out there. I want to be on your guys' league, and experience that new crowd and that new energy to be able to network with. So that's the message to battlers, is just recognize where you're at and what you're really trying to accomplish. Because what is it that you're trying to accomplish? Is it to get your name out there more, or is it just like, yo, now you're Charlie Clips? I don't, what are we doing? There's got to be serious self-awareness in practice in order to make this more fun for you. This got to be, at some point, we got to be out here like having fun, dog. Like, you're not, I don't know. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? I feel like there's
I do, but it's hard with the money involved, man. It's easy to have fun when I'm battling in a state I could drive to, because it was effortless, right? But when you start putting all these, like, the transactions involved, it stops being as fun, because it's like, shit, if this falls through, if this guy doesn't show up, if this guy wants more money, if this guy feels like he should have gotten more, or somebody was like, well, if he's getting paid, I should get paid. It stops being fun, because now it's so much more about the business and backing up and justifying, hey, I was worth it. Next time I'm gonna get that or more, right? So now I can't even book you thinking you fuck with us. That's why it's better if I just try to develop a league and a new roster here, because, like I've said this before, I would much rather have 100 people in my event and be the dopest thing happening in my city than fly to another league on my own time and there be 20 people in a room. And I have done it. And that's exactly been the case. I'd rather perform here with my people and have fun. Like, so it stops being fun when the money's involved. That's why it's like, you're absolutely right, because that's also what I do. Can you help me with some of the travel? Can you help me with this? Just make it less stressful for me to be there and have fun with y'all.
Sure. No, I get it. I understand totally. Obviously, the overarching message, at least from our perspective and our side, is we want to make it as beneficial as possible. If it's not a matter of getting you paid, if it's a matter of when you get here that you got, you're getting custom merch or something, or whatever the case is. I don't know. You're getting hooked up with something. I don't know. We just do our best to
make it. You take have food, get your Uber. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but when this initial question got brought up, like I said, like I'm at the head of these negotiations, so it's like me first, and I'm just like, let's just chat through it, because we obviously want to bring you out. So, and let's just talk through it, see what we can figure out. And some folks are like, yo, like, they just let me know what they need, and it's like, cool,
yeah,
in due time. And it's not even like weird. It's just like we'll get you out maybe next, at the end of the year or something, So
yeah.
Absolutely. I do, man, appreciate you guys taking this time. I do have like 2 questions, but the one that's more pressing that I feel like I really want to get to, with development in mind, and Gabino, I'm gonna start with you, because I feel like you kind of have been balancing this with your league the last year, having the conversation brought up recently about what's a quote unquote platform and what's a league.
Oh yeah, here we go.
And people, feeling like if you just book the names, you're a platform, but then if you're a league, you're into talent development. For you, how do you, again, with development in mind, how do you find the balance between I have to book an event that's going to generate interest and have the right names on the card with the names? So if you're booking your 40 bars, you're booking Av, you're booking Rum Nitty, you're booking Quest, you're booking Thesaurus, you're booking these names while also trying to get the Mike Baileys, the Stretch. You're trying to get certain names seen as well. Where do you find the balance to be able to both book the names and then also being able to transfer that into the development of the lesser known names to help them develop and help them progress?
Yeah, sure. A real world example is 48 The Lake. Day one was, our newer names and that we wanted to show off to the country, and that's why we made it. We streamed it live on YouTube, and then this is actually a big conversation that I just had on my own live stream. Day two obviously was the national card. I saw it got brought up, is Mike Masters a league or a platform? And it was brought to, that we're a platform. Bro, we are both. And that's not even respectfully. That is a fact. What we are establishing is our interest in bringing top tier matchups to the culture in general of battle rap that's extended outside of Utah. And as a league owner, when I first restarted the league, I had the same goal in mind, was to cultivate new talent and put people out into the stratosphere. It's taken almost the same amount of time. It's difficult with Emerson Kennedy's first battle was with us. I was in his ear about battling. He's someone that was at our events all the time, very very supportive, and obviously you see what he's doing now, and he's for sure. But the point is that working through this process of like being a league that I think all leagues are platforms. I don't know if a platform is. I don't understand like the differentiation there. I mean, if we are at a place where we want to make sure that the talent that we have developing, excuse me, let me run this back. If I didn't have a vested interest in developing our talent, then I would be failing the league for sure. This is not like a cash grab situation here at Mike Masters at all. Our interest is to provide, to be like a place where we can essentially be like a national stage here in Salt Lake City. So I liken it to, you can go see the New York Yankees at Yankee Stadium, and I absolutely encourage you to do that. You can go see the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field, and I absolutely encourage you to do that. But I would like to be able to have a stadium here in Utah where you can see the Yankees play here, and you can see the Chicago Cubs play here, while also putting on our AAA teams. So that's the analogy that I use in order to be like, yo, man, just because we want to have professional battles, that doesn't. What is there hate there from the outside? Which is all good. It doesn't matter, honestly, because we're still going to continue to do it and put on A1 business. But the ultimate goal is to see our guys, succeed and be, a part of these situations, which is what our Mountain West Showdown is. It's Utah versus everyone. Did we do well last year? No, that's okay. That's all right. We got Mountain West Showdown 7. We have another opportunity. We got Mountain West Showdown 8. We have another opportunity. So that's my answer to that question as far as what a league and a platform is, and I think we double as both.
Fire. I like what Faith says. I think all leagues are platforms, but all platforms are not leagues. Where does conversation start from, Dvos? I'm gonna get your take on this as well. Where this originally stemmed from was the URL versus RBE. That's the first place this conversation really took off. It was RBE saying, well, we're a platform, we're booking the top tiers, we're booking the matchups people want to see. We're not really developing talent. Now, obviously, they are developed, they have their brick series, they are developing and trying to recruit and get an actual roster. But they were saying, well, URL, you guys have the Crucible. Before that, you had the PGs. You guys were actually into the talent development for your particular league, as well as booking the names. I feel like that's where it started. And so when you look at the West, they look at the Riot and say, okay, the Riot started off as a league. You guys were heavy into development. At a certain point in time, you guys moved to platform where now you're just showcasing. Platform is more of the showcase of the talent. League is more of the showcase / development. Like on the Riot, we're not, all saluting, shout out to Hansel. He's still developing as a battle rapper, but I feel like when they're booking him matchups on the Riot, he's already at the place where his development is just going to be him getting better, himself, just studying game tapes and whatnot. When he's put on them on the Riot, he's there to be showcased. I'm showing you this talent. Next, I'm showcasing this talent. Nitty, I'm showcasing his talents, etc., etc. So I feel like that's the conversation started at the highest level, and then it kind of divulged into regional kind of narratives where certain people feel like they should be credited more with the league, quote unquote, title because they actually develop people. But that's a whole nother narrative. I definitely want to have a whole separate show about that because I feel like that needs an entire breakdown out here for sure, because I did not like some of the commentary I've seen from y'all in the West on that post. A lot of blasphemy in that damn post, but neither here nor there. Dvos, you've been somebody who's also put names over there as well while trying to develop. What's the balance for you, man, when it comes to having, quote unquote, the right number of names and just, okay, I need to put my guys who need a look to develop and get to that next spot? What's that balance like for you?
Okay, well, I'll start with the balance question. So I don't think that I have ever thought about, and maybe it's to a fault, but I don't think I've ever thought about when I'm booking cards like, oh, I have to have a name as the headliner. Otherwise, this card is worthless. Like, that's not really, and maybe that's because I do think that by the definition then that we are a league because we develop people. Now, where I have it, I'm not offended by not being a platform, but where I think I'm confused about it is, I don't think you have to be booking top tier names to still be a platform. Like, I think you could book, like, you could develop talent and be the platform on which people are developed. Because, for instance, right, you can't tell me that iBattle is not a platform and not extremely into development of their roster. Like, he's pumping out like 100 fucking battlers a year over there, developing, right? Like, they really are streamlining a development process. But if you get booked on iBattle or like a big iBattle card, they just had, I forgot, Fortitude, or no, it was something else. But it was the one with Big K and Appa, I believe, right? Like, that if you were on that card, that was a platform that day, right? Anyways, to circle back, when I'm thinking about like how to balance it, I guess what I'm considering is, who do we want out here from our home roster to battle, to show the greater battle rap community that they are worth investing in, that they have the capabilities to battle names that they know and respect. And I also don't think that like those names have to be your real deals, your A-wards, your Chef Trezes. Like, they could be technically lower names, get offended if you must. But like, you can have, like, for instance, we had Empty Money battle Benny Loke at one of our events. It was a mid-tier event, what I would consider, right? That was our headliner. I'm perfectly happy with Empty Money battling Benny Loke at that event. Why? Because Empty Money's a good battler. Benny Loke is a very talented battler. I'm not worried that Empty Money is not Jay the Nightwing, no offense, right? Or any of these, like Big K or something like that. What I'm interested in is, did the battle they produce result in people in my hometown, in my league, my community, really being invested now in Empty Money, really being invested in having people like Empty Money brought out. Like, I'd rather be in the market for developing good battles because that's going to improve my roster. It's going to develop my roster. It's going to bring eyes out here because if a good name, like if Empty Money promotes this battle out here and he's known on the West Coast, he's known in the Northwest, right? That puts eyes on Benny Logue. And it didn't need to be Chilla Jones in order to do that. I'm trying to develop my battlers so that they get the respect, frankly, of the West Coast, right? Of California, of the Northwest. Like, I need them to be given that credibility if I am looking out for their careers. And so, like, big names, I don't know. Like, I don't know that big names have always necessarily, like, resulted in some immediate stardom for the people we book. I like to book big names for people as a sign of respect more than anything, right? As a sign of appreciation, because that's how you would reward somebody for their efforts. But I'm definitely not booking big names because overnight my channel is going to hit 65,000 subscribers. It's not, and that's okay. Like, but I would much rather book names that are going to develop my talent and going to legitimize my platform to the greater West Coast and the battle rap community.
Absolutely.
And and if you don't mind, I'm going to say one more thing in that. For instance, when I did phase 2 of the Crucible in Florida, it was a 2-day card, and that room was filled with people who were not yet considered the top tier, right? Because it was a developmental program. But 2 days of those battlers would have been a godsend to most leagues to have the lineups, like 10 battles. Both days were phenomenal cards, right? Like, those were not top tier names. But if you would have put out, 8 of those battles in a row, especially from day 2 for the South, you would have put out 8 of those battles in a row, you would have had yourself a very, an event that would have gotten tweeted a lot, right? If Battle Rap lives on Twitter, that would have been the place that it would have been getting talked about because there would have been names that are on the come up that just had an amazing showing against another name that's on the come up. All the regions are benefiting from the exposure. They are now going to get better names as a result of it. They didn't need one top tier name in that room for that whole day to be fired.
Absolutely. Now that's definitely man, powerful what we've been discussing. I loved it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, I just think yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would just have. I guess I'll just stand on business that I just said. I mean, we have a vested interest in both. Like our event yesterday, we were happy to bring Fate out the Battle Lefty. That was incredible for us because we've been wanting to have Fate out here for a while, and obviously that, Fate's Fate. He's been on some of the biggest stages, and that was just really cool to have him now out here in Utah, and a majority of that card outside of that battle was all local. And every card has their own energy. And that one yesterday carried its own. It was one that, again, we wanted to stream live on YouTube to show everyone else, what we got cracking over here outside of, the bigger battles that we cook, because cultivation is paramount. So that's, I guess that was a chance for our league to put on a show for what we want to do. So, yeah.
Nah, absolutely. I ain't gonna lie, man. The dialogue always be fire, man. We gonna have to have a day, man. We just do like a real stream, man. Get everybody, multiple battle rappers included, man. Just really cook up because there's some good dialogue. But to get up out of here, man, definitely appreciate you guys pulling up today. Normally, when I do interviews, I always ask, hey, what's one thing positive in the West you see that you want to see more of? What's one thing negative you see in the West that you would like to see less of? In terms of keeping it on topic, with talent development in mind, what's one thing as a league owner you see positive in terms of talent development that you want to see more of, and what's something in terms of talent development that you see that you want to see less of within the West region? Gabino, I'll start with you.
This in regards to talent development, what I'm encouraged by. Am I just referring to our scene or just like in general?
It can be both. It can be your scene and just in general.
Sure. Okay. For our scene, I'm encouraged by how many DMs I have. Shit. I mean, it seems like I don't know. There's a lot of folks that are wanting to be on our drafts, and so that is a big positive. So I'll say that. What I see that is positive outside of the West, and like talent development. Man, I just want to. I guess maybe I'm just going to say this is like I would just like to see more events, man, from other leagues, because in order to develop talent, we just need more events happening. You know what I mean? So that's what I would say is for the West as a whole. I know that what we're doing, like I said about like staying consistent, because that's really key. And as far as cons, I guess it would go to the. Hold on, sorry guys. I guess it would go to the point of, just that there's not enough names that are coming up. Like if there's any way that we can even help, like if there's other leagues out there that are like, hey man, we just don't have enough battles or events going on. We maybe hit up Gabino over at Mike Masters and see if they might be able to get you onto a draft battle. We're happy to do that too. So. That's my take on that.
Fire, Dvos, man. One positive in terms of talent development you want to see more of, and a negative that you see in terms of talent development that you want to see less of.
I think I want to just highlight and shout out Grizz Exam, Casual Conflicts, Shots Fired, CRS, who I feel hit list. Who I feel, and if I don't name you, don't be upset. But like at least like in California, right? Like that, I feel that they have done a really exemplary job of continuing to grind away at making sure there is a platform like Casual Conflicts, making sure that they had a platform to develop talent, right? That is accessible, where the product is good. It's always good footage, and the crowds are good. And like Pyrex just came back from Casual Conflicts. I saw him today. Nothing but good things to say about Casual Conflicts, right? And so I want to appreciate that, because I feel like, it is a risk to take on battlers who are developing their image, or to take on battlers whose images have been around for a very long time and haven't developed, right? But you book them. And I do not mean that with any negative sense. I actually appreciate that they take on that risk. Because, if they don't, like Gabino said, we need a stage, or battlers need a stage. They need a place to develop themselves. And if nobody takes on that risk, then we are stuck with the problem. We feel like the problem is right now that there's no good names this year. This is the weakest draft for like new battlers, or the weakest class of new battlers. Like, even if that's the case, it would be even worse if we didn't have stages that took on the responsibility of developing battlers in the West. So I just, to highlight and appreciate them, good that they're doing that, because every bigger league needs that, because they're not going to take the time to invest in that necessarily, right? The biggest leagues can, because maybe they have the funds to, but grassroots leagues taking on that responsibility, it's not profitable. There's not a lot of love shown for it, but you are a staple in the community, and I appreciate that they do that. So I will now, what I need to see less of, or not need to see less of necessarily, but something that I'm not happy with, is I feel like leagues don't call other leagues out anymore, man. I feel like there's not a competitive spirit. I feel like there's just this float in the fucking ether of battle rap and hope you find your way. I feel like leagues should also have a vested interest in kind of securing some like judged wins for themselves. Like, if you don't want to necessarily, or not that you don't want to, but like if it isn't the path for you to, just only book big names, or only pay battlers to come out who are gonna get reaction on Twitter or on YouTube. Like, get your starting five and start fucking up leagues around you, you know, because I think that competitive spirit is so important to why people enjoy battle rap. It shouldn't just be one on one. Oh, we have this battle coming up, and that's what everybody should care about. We should care about the brand. We should care about the league. We should care about the team. That's something to get behind. I think like much more prominently than just like one battler's career. Gabino, I'm like, you guys are cooking up there, man. You guys have a great platform, a league, both. You guys are doing a great job. And I'm going to have to consider if I've got a starting five to come fuck that up for y'all. And, that's out of love. But more than anything, it's to keep a competitive spirit out here where people think we ain't got nothing going on. We have to be competitive. We have to have teeth, and we have to show, if nothing else, more initiative than our peers on the West Coast, like California. I think that's what we have to do. And I don't think leagues are doing it enough, and I don't think they're interested in doing it.
And I'm so glad you said that, because I take it past leagues. I just think that there was a time period where people cared about repping where they were from. When Northern California felt like they weren't getting the love that they were supposed to get 2017, 2018, because that was when I was battling. And I was a part of taking those drives from Sacramento, me and a few people from Sacramento, Next, Drix, Dre Run. We're going to pull up to Southern California. We're going to cause havoc. We out here to cook y'all. We out here to smoke y'all. And it became this thing of, okay, NorCal versus SoCal, to the point where now you see people in prominent positions in the culture from Northern California, and then you get the next wave of Northern California where it's like, no, this is NorCal. We repping ours. And I feel like even like the Northwest, like Stewie Newton going to the PGs, going to LA, going to these different cards and putting in work and catching rec to put on and put the Northwest on his back and like put it out there. We from here. We're from Washington. You know what I'm saying? I just think like the last few years it hasn't been like that. And I think, to be honest, more than anything, that's gonna come from Utah, Arizona, New Mexico. Those are the markets and the places where we have not seen a vast amount of quote unquote talent come from those areas. That's the next wave of, hey, let's catch wreck with each other. Let's catch wreck with Cali. Hey, we 5 of us from AZ, we're pulling up. Hey, New Mexico, hey, we're pulling up, and make it something, because that's where the excitement becomes, because now it's like, okay, y'all not better than San Bernardino. Oh, y'all think y'all better? Now that creates the conversation. That helps promotion, because so many people are lazy with it. Let's be honest, they'd be lazy with it. That helps the promotion, because now you have a common goal. You have a common enemy. Like, okay, we're promoting. We're all on the same page for this purpose. And I think that I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think that is something that is drastically missing from the West in the last few years. It's missing like that. Man, I could go on and on about that, but man, I just want to say once again, man, Gabino, Dvos, I appreciate you guys pulling up, man, taking the time out, man. This has been a very, very dope conversation. I think we've covered a lot of ground, unpacked a lot of the narratives that I feel like were needed. You know what I'm saying? So to get up out of here, Gabino, starting with you, man. Where can the people find you at? You, platform, league, all of that, socials, all of that stuff, man. Go ahead and plug everything for the people.
Man, that's easy. At Mike Masters 801 on everything. That's where we'll keep it. If you want to contact me directly, at Gabino Grhymes, Gabino. There's no M. Yeah, but at Mike Masters 801 on everything.
Absolutely. Dvos, plug everything for the people.
Dvos, man, I agree with this. I think there needs to be an expanded conversation about the 5-on-5 shit or whatever, like, because we've been having talks about like, how do we start this, like just a competition up like that. Folks bring their best 5, another 5, we throw them into a randomizer and we go from there. You know what I mean? I think that'll be pretty fun. But all right, that's what I got. But this has been a great conversation. Again, Nico, I said this in the group, but I feel very happy that you were able to put this together. Thank you for making this conversation happen in general. I think what needs to happen as well is more conversations like this, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's what West Connect is for, man. We will have this show weekly. This will not just be a one-off. This is a weekly stream. We will have this. And I see Next in the chat said he wants to be next on the dialogue. So we might get the battle rapper perspective on this. I think that's the next step. The
Hell
Dvos,
yeah.
man. Plug everything for the people. Let them know where they can find you, league, all of that.
So you can find me, Gabe Dvos, on Facebook, at Ganja La Bamba on Twitter, the guy with the ties on Instagram. But of course, Universal Battle Realm on Facebook, Universal Battle Realm on Twitter, Universal Battle Realm on Instagram, TikTok as well. And of course, shout out Black Ice Cartel on Twitter, Black Ice Cartel on Facebook. There's a discussion leagues for it. You should definitely be a part of that. We have shows every Tuesday around like 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, so probably 6 p.m. For California. Black Ice Cartel is always a discussion every single Tuesday, so definitely pop in for that. And go check out. They just dropped the trailer for Coffee versus E-Heart, I believe, which was a fire battle from the cage card. So go check that shit out. Yeah, Nico, thank you for having us here. It was a great conversation. I'm happy to be a part of it. You know, I hope to have more. There's a lot that I can learn as a league owner, and I'm sure that there's many things that the battlers can enlighten me on that I haven't discussed, or maybe I was too ignorant about when I was speaking about it. So I'll leave that open there as well. But yeah, thanks for having us. Universal Battle Realm, the most disrespectful battle league. I am Mr. Five Fingers in your bitch, like I'm speaking Italian. Let's go.
There we go, man. Hey, you already know where you can find me at NicoTV_ on Twitter. That's really where I'm at. I do have an IG at _NicoTV. I'm not really active on there, which got to change that. But Twitter is where you can find me. You know what I'm saying? Definitely appreciate everybody for supporting. This West Connect is really, like I said, it's for the nuanced conversation. It's to get that thought-provoking, you know, dialogue that we could really cook up on. The goal originally was to have a representative from every state be a part of the show, so we could have like a whole group type discussion every time we had this conversation. But anybody that wants to pull up to have those kind of conversations, man, get in depth a little bit more, I'm definitely for it. Still trying to figure out this will be a Tuesday stream or a Thursday stream. It's gonna be one of those days every week. Still trying to navigate that. But yeah, next time you will see me will be Monday. We got Pill Your Cap Radio. Definitely have a lot of stuff to unpack there. But as always, man, keep it battle rap, keep it West, and I'll holler at y'all next time, man. We out of here.